Today, we're gonna talk about Raw, about wrestling. What? Wrestling? I'm not sure about that. The topics that I'm gonna talk about are the state of the Women's Tag Team Championships, Gunther versus Gable, Riddle teaming up with Drew McIntyre, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Seth Rollins, and last but not least, the whole Judgement Day Saga. First off, I want to start with the state of the Women's Tag Team titles. On tonight's Raw, we had one backstage segment that was talking about them, and basically whenever someone is injured or something like this, what is happening with the titles? They're getting relinquished, right? And they were trying to do that with these titles, but I like the current approach as well. They were about to relinquish the titles, but Chelsea Green was like, I don't want to relinquish the titles, instead I'm gonna get a new partner. And Piper Niven came out of nowhere and she was like, I'm the new tag team champion with you and we're gonna defend those titles. And I like that approach. I want to see how it works. Everyone is saying that the tag team titles are cursed, and I agree with you. The last time we had notable tag team champions were Bayley and Sasha Banks. That was like 3 years ago almost. And since then, no one can hold up to them, not because they're not good, but because something happens. Next up, I want to talk about Gunther versus Gable. It's a traditional David versus Goliath matchup. Everyone knows that Gunther is gonna win, right? But at the same time, you have seen Gable do that amazing German suplex, and you know how good Gable is. And if we put it into perspective, he has been grinding his ass off week in, week out to get to this moment. He truly deserves to get that Intercontinental Championship. But unfortunately, I think he's not gonna win. Next week, we're gonna see if he's gonna win or not. Tonight, we saw him beat Giovanni Vinci. Next match was Gunther versus Otis. It was a really fun match, actually. Their match will be next week, and we're gonna see if Gable will win. As I said, it doesn't make any sense to break Gunther's record like 30 days before he becomes the longest reigning champion in the history. I want to talk about Matt Riddle teaming up with Drew McIntyre. It's a really fun tag team, but I feel like this tag team is the moment that it's gonna be good for Drew to start his heel run again. I really like Drew as a heel. I really do. The Scottish psychopath, I really enjoyed that gimmick, and I feel like if he becomes heel right now, it's gonna be even more enjoyable than in the past. So I'm really looking forward to them losing next week to the New Day and Drew flipping and turning on Riddle, having a good feud with Riddle, because that's what they're gonna have for sure. And after that, going for the world title or whatever, but he's gonna be a heel, he's gonna be a badass, and that's what we need right now, because I feel like that we don't have enough heels, even though we have the Judgment Day, that is like 4 heels in a row, but we will not talk about that now. Next up, I want to talk about Shinsuke Nakamura and Seth Rollins feud. I think it's a little bit rushed. I hate when WWE are making these kinds of feuds, because Shinsuke Nakamura is someone that everyone wants to see as a world champion. Even back in the day in 2018, I believe everyone wanted to see him win against AJ Styles. But you know that this is not the case, this is not what's gonna happen. So I don't know what they're trying to achieve. I really like heel Shin, and I really like that Shinsuke is having 2 hits on set advantage, and Shinsuke said something to Seth that no one really knows what it is, but I feel like I have read on his lips something like next week, but I don't know. I guess next week we're gonna understand what Shin told Seth so he to be so distracted. And last but not least, as I said, I want to talk about the Judgement Day Saga, because it's really interesting. I feel like we have the Bloodline on SmackDown and we have a Judgment Day on Raw for the longest time. And last year I really wanted to see War Games Bloodline versus the Judgment Day, but we didn't see that. I doubt that we will see that this year because the Bloodline just crumbled. But the whole thing about the Judgment Day, it's really interesting right now. They're unit, but at the same time you see cracks in the Judgment Day. Like JD McDonough is a big crack, and at this point I'm not sure if he's gonna be in the Judgment Day or he's gonna be a guy who is helping the Judgment Day or he's helping only Finn Balor. I don't understand why Finn Balor just do not forget what happened in the past. Obviously they had a huge advantage in their group with Damian Priest having the briefcase, so just focus on that, be a team, and just push this thing as much as possible, because honestly, if Judgment Day flops, I feel like it's a lot of potential lost, because it's a group so dominant. It's a group full of leaders. Everyone except Dom Mysterio, of course, is a leader. Like Finn Balor, even without the championship, is a leader. Damian Priest, without briefcase, absolute Chad. And Rhea Ripley, of course, she just destroyed Indy Hartwell, and she's gonna destroy the whole women's division. I want to talk even about the Rhea Ripley. Everyone is questioning her run as a champion, but tonight she had a match. I don't know even if it was for the championship, but it felt so special and so good, and everyone is so happy to see Rhea just pummeling the roster. Like, it's so enjoyable. So Judgment Day, I want them to stay a whole. Unfortunately, we see some cracks. It's really ironic how the guy who entered last and just made them Judgment Day by kicking out Edge out of the group, Finn Balor, is the guy that the Judgment Day is gonna crumble because of. I don't know, it's really interesting to see what is gonna happen with Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and the people who are feuding with them as well, Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn. And at some point, I feel like Kevin Owens is gonna come back. Right now, when I just said it, I have some suspicion that this is gonna be the match for Survivor Series, like something along the lines of Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens versus the Judgment Day / JD McDonough. We're gonna see, time will tell, and I'm really excited for the future. That's all for me. I know it's a little bit short. I have a new mic, sorry for the sound if it's awful, but I'm gonna see you. Thank you all so much for watching. Peace. Goodbye.